But yeah, we're gonna get started. My name is Oliver Ray. I'm the new events coordinator for the EFA. I was hired back in December. And part of my onboarding process that was important to me was I wanted to do a lot of research about the EFA. I wanted to understand more about what people liked, what people didn't like, why people joined the EFA. And something I came back to again and again in my research was that community was really important to the EFA members. And community was a reason a lot of them joined, a lot of them stayed. And as an events coordinator, that was really exciting to me. I think community is a really big deal. It's really important, and I really love being able to foster senses of community as an events person. And so part of what I wanted to do was create just a Discord server. So I worked with leadership to kind of talk about why we should have one. Discord was originally built by a group of gamers. You can read this on their Wikipedia and things. And they built it because they wanted to play strategy games together, but there was no chat service that they could find that really worked well for them to talk to each other. And so they decided to make their own. But when they decided to make their own, they didn't want to build just a chat service for gamers. They wanted to build a chat service that primarily focused on user ease or like user intuitiveness and community. And so what we got was Discord. And as you'll see as I go through, Discord has a lot of really cool features that make it more accessible, that make it user friendly. It can be a bit intimidating at first. I remember when I first downloaded Discord, I was like, what is all this? But as you kind of explore it, I find it makes a lot of sense. But I'm gonna go ahead and start sharing my screen to kind of show you guys. So a lot of you, I think I know at least a few of you are already in the server, but some of you might not be yet. So when you first join, this is what it's gonna look like for you. That link should take you directly to our welcome and rules channel. But you'll see up here, this first message, you can react to it with your pronouns. And what it'll do, you'll see all these names on the side are highlighted in different colors. The color coordinates to a certain set of pronouns, and that's how your name will light up. You'll see mine is orange for he, him. And then it just lets other people know in the server how to refer to you without having to specify. And then you'll see below that, there is a welcome message that kind of outlines what the server is for. And then it connects to our EFA code of conduct for the Discord server, and then our overall EFA anti-harassment policy. And so what you do is you'll just click this green check mark. It would say that you agree to the rules. So that's what it looks like unclicked. When you click it, it'll be kind of highlighted like that. And once that happens, the rest of the server will pop up for you. So you'll get a lot more of stuff on the side over here. Mine's going to look a little different from yours because I'm an admin for the server. So there might be a couple things that pop up for me that don't pop up for you. Please don't worry. That's because they're for my eyes only while I try to set up things and do things in the background. But what will pop up for you is you'll see all these different categories. We have the welcome category, the text channels main, editorial subjects. There are these little guys with these little arrows next to them. And the categories have different channels inside them. And so the welcome channel has our welcome and rules. You won't be able to see bot setup. That's just for me. But another one you'll be able to see in this category is the current mod and mod hours. So what this channel is for is letting you know who's moderating at any given time. When we were developing the Discord server, we wanted to try a new way of moderating out, and we wanted to try to find a more sustainable way to do it. And so the idea I came up with was that we would have our moderators choose a few days of the week and a time frame on those days that they would be available. And so you can message your moderator at any time, but they'll probably get back to you within their office hours, and that's when they'll be able to address any questions or concerns you might have. Obviously, we want to have some moderation all the time, and so we've also set up some auto moderation with some of our bots, which I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to now. So one of our bots is Helper Carl. He has this little turtle icon. He helped me do a lot to set up the server, but he can do fun things for you as well. So one of the things he does for our auto moderation is he will automatically filter out any slurs or undesirable links that we clearly don't want in our server. We try to keep that very limited. Obviously, we want to promote discussion of all ideas, but there are just some things that are unacceptable in safe spaces, and Carlbot helps us look out for those. But Carlbot also has some fun functions for you guys to use. So if you ever want to type a command in Discord, you do is you start with the slash key. Type this key and then it's going to give you some options. These are the commands I most frequently use. But what you're probably going to be interested in is the slash fun commands. So if you type slash fun, you'll see some different options come up. One of them being like fun clap. So if you were to use that one, you could then type a sentence like, I love the EFA. And when you send it, Carlbot will automatically put little claps between it. Because that was a meme a while ago on the internet and people like that. You can also, they have fun things like a coin flip. So you can flip a coin if you're trying to make a decision. I got heads. So that means I'll continue the tutorial. But it's just fun little things you can do. Next, I want to go over some of the text channels. So that's kind of how Helper Carl works. That's a brief introduction to like the categories and the channels. And so what I've been showing you so far are text channels. We have a general channel for general conversation. We have an introductions. People have been really enjoying this one. They give a chance to give a brief overview of who you are, where you are, what you do, connect with people who have similar interests or in similar areas. One of my favorite channels is our resource share channel. It's where people can come and share the different resources they might use. One of the first ones is one I shared. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Honey, but it's a really cool browser extension that's free that you can add, and it'll just scour the internet for coupons when you put things in your cart to shop. And if it finds one, it'll automatically apply it for you, which I just think is pretty cool. We have a show and tell. We have a pets channel. The pets channel is very popular, and I'm sure you can see why with all these cute faces. We've got rabbits, we've got cats, we got dogs. But yeah, we have all kinds of cool things. Another channel that was just created recently was a referrals channel for when people have a job that they can't take, but they need to refer someone to. We have an editorial subjects category and all these fun things. So we realized that we have a kidlit chapter and we have an academic editing chapter and things, but we don't necessarily have a chapter for all these different subjects. Now we have different different channels for you to connect with people who also enjoy these subjects. So another channel category that we have is for our chapters. So all our chapters now have their own private categories with a multitude of different channels. The way to join your chapter to make that visible to you is you come to this join channel under join your chapter's channel category. And all you have to do is hit the emoji below your chapter's name and you will be permitted in. So as you can see, I've reacted to the BIPOC chapter. So I already have view to all of that because I am an admin of the server. But if you were to hit that, it would make the category pop up for you. And then you'd be able to see that they have their own different channels. The BIPOC chapter hasn't been super active yet, but our Kidlit chapter has. You can see they have a lot going on in some of their different chats. So we've talked a lot about text channels, but a really cool thing about Discord is it's not just text. You have access to audio and video features as well. So voice channels are cool. They're pretty easy to join. You just click it. And as you can see, it's letting me know my voice is connected. So anyone else who is in this voice channel would also be able to hear me talking right now. I'm able to turn on my camera and share video. I have this limited to EFA leadership right now for the video, but that could change in the future. We can also share screen. I'm not going to do that right now because then I'd be double sharing my screen. I don't want to make anything break. There's different activities that can be set up. There's even a little soundboard you can use and play different funny noises. But it's just a fun way to be able to connect with others via audio and like talk. You can work together in the chat. Yeah, it's just a really cool way to connect and be able to talk to people, especially since we have members just all over the world. So that's kind of how those work. Even chat while in these. So they have a chat feature as well. So if you're on there, but for whatever reason you can hear others, but you don't want to talk, you can even use chat. So John, you're muted right now, but if you wanted to unmute, you would be able to do that. Should be this little button down here. There's the turn on and off for your microphone. An important thing to note about these channels is when you're in a voice channel, you can still go into other text channels. The only way to disconnect is to hit that little hang up button. So if you saw that, I'm going to click that again. You can go click into other ones. It's not going to make you leave the voice chat. The only way to leave is to hit that disconnect. We also have a category in channels. If you don't see a channel you want, you can request one here. You can request rules. If you're interested in being part of our moderator team, you can do that. You can request that here. Yeah, and so the other thing I wanted to introduce you guys, we have CarlBot, which I showed you guys a bit earlier. We also have SprintoBot. People are really big fans of Sprinto. Some people aren't, so don't feel too bad if you don't like him too much, but you will have company if you like him a lot. To use Sprinto, you use that slash command again, and to start, you hit slash sprint, and that'll start one for you. And then it's going to give you an option. That option is how long you want the sprint to last for. So I'm just going to say 5 minutes. I'm going to send that command. And so what it's going to do is it's going to let us know that the sprint will start in 60 seconds. And that will give other people a chance to slash join. Hit slash join. It's going to ask you what your current word count is. I'm going to say I'm at 0 right now, and I'm going to send that. And so then when it starts, it's going to keep track of mine and anybody else who joins. And then at the end, it'll ask you how many words you've typed, and you can enter, and then it'll rank everybody by how many words they typed. And it's just like a fun little competition work along-esque bot people enjoy. It'll at you so that you know when the time's up. A lot of people like to use it when they want to work kind of heads down, not pay attention to other things for a certain period of time, and then Sprinto helps let them know when it's over. That's how Sprinto works. So now you see the Sprinto has started. It gives me 5 minutes. It even tells me until when it'll go. So while we're waiting for that, I'll go over just a few other features. Let's say you're one of those people who don't like Sprinto and you don't want notifications for it at all. Well, we can do that for you. If you go over to the channel, you can right click it and you can see you can mute the channel, which means you won't get any notifications for it. And you can set it for a certain amount of time. Let's just say you don't want this specific sprint. So you can just mute it for 15 minutes and then notifications will come back on after that. Or you can even leave it until you turn it back on. You can leave it muted as long as you want. You can also change the notification settings. I like to change mine to only app mentions so that I don't get a notification for every message that's sent. But obviously you can set that up to whatever your preference is. Say you want to do something similar, but for the whole server. You can right click on the top left icon over here that says EFA Discord server, and you can mute the server for in a similar fashion. You can also change the notification settings in a similar fashion. You can even suppress things. So you might get the notification, but not the sound. And you can change the different sounds if you don't like the current notification sound that it has. You can also mark everything as red. So something I forgot to mention earlier was these channels. You'll see some of them are kind of dull or gray. That means I'm caught up on those channels. I've read all the messages here, but you'll see some of them are lit up kind of white and have like this little half circle on the side. That means there's unread messages. So I hadn't read this message yet. So now it lets me know that that's new. That's where the new messages start. And I can mark it as read, and now that'll go away. Another cool thing is we can host events within the Discord server. So normally up here, if there's an event, it will be here for you. There's not one set up right now, but hopefully there will be in the future. And so this is where you would come and look at that and be able to join it when the time came. On this right-hand side, you can also see everyone who's online within any channel. We have 94 people active right now. And then you can also see all the people who are in the server, but not active right now. A cool thing you can do is, I'm gonna bother E for this to show. You can click a person's name and it will give you information about that user. So you can see their name, their pronouns. Some people have a little about. You can see if they're friends with you, if you have a mutual server. Anyone you share a server with or you're friends with on Discord, you can privately message. You can't search people up unless you have some sort of connection, whether it be through a mutual server or your friends. But you can message people who are those things. You can see even how long they've been a member, what roles they might have in a server. And down here, you can start a private message with them. So I'm just going to say, hi, E. I'm doing another tutorial. I bothered them the other day for a tutorial, so I'm sure they'll know what that means. And you'll see it'll bring up a private conversation, kind of how that works. And you can do that for anyone. So anybody, it'll have the same effect. You'll see I'm not friends with this user, so it doesn't show up. But if I were to go to our private messages, I would be able to send them a friend request. So Now we can see it had a little red, I had clicked it too fast. It had a little red icon. That means I was added in the server. So you can see they used an @ sign and my name's highlighted. It's asking me to give my final word count. So I can just click that to do it. I'm gonna just pretend I wrote 500 words. 100 words a minute. And so once it's decided it's given enough time for everybody to submit their word counts, then it'll give us that final message. Yes, so now you can see it gave me my words per minute, my amount of words. And normally it gives like a little encouraging quote, like you can see up here on this one, something that is cool to know. So when you're on desktop, this will happen anytime you hover over a message. I think on mobile, you'll have to long tap. Gonna add reactions to a message, any sort of emoji. You can directly reply so that they know you're talking to them, or you can even create a thread. Threads are kind of like private side conversations, but still happening within the server so others can join. You can give the thread a name. I'm just gonna give this one a name called help, send messages in that thread. And so the messages aren't going to appear down here anymore. It's just going to appear within the thread. And so that kind of helps not push the conversation so far up. If it's kind of like an off topic or aside, I'm going to go ahead and delete that because and that's also easy to delete messages if you had an error or you just don't want the message there anymore. Another thing you can do, let's say you're having a conversation, let's say you're in introductions and someone mentions cool pet while they're doing their introduction and you just need to know more, but the introduction channel is not for that. Something you can do is you can hit hashtag, you can search for the channel, so you can hit hashtag pets, and if I were to send that, it could send them to that. Another thing you can do is copy the message link, and then you can send that over here, and then start the conversation over here, and then people can still go, just a simple tap will take them back to the message that started the conversation. I hope that all makes sense.